Would you like to know who my second most important Bear for the 2024 season is?
I think I know.
If not, I can give you some baseball news.
No, I would like to know.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Shane Waldron.
That's your guess.
Yes.
Tyler?
I would co-sign that guess as well.
Yeah? I didn't do a very good job of hiding this, though, because I've said it probably 100 times over the course of the last several months.
Yeah, you talk football with us, so
But-
we're gonna. So you can never say to me again that I don't listen. Like the way the way I've knocked down this list, you could tell that I listen to your thoughts all the time. I've nailed almost every one of your.
Got lucky. I think you got lucky.
Yeah.
You are correct, though. Once again, I think you probably picked 6 or 7 out of the top 10. Shane Waldron is my number 2 most important Bear for the 2024 season. Like you said earlier that spouses of Bears players are Bears, right? Like, didn't you say Simone Biles is part of the Bear family?
Yeah, she's like an honorary Bear, or she's now a Bear, and she's in the Bear family.
Okay, Shane Waldron, albeit an offensive coordinator, he's a Bear.
He's an important member of that building.
And he is the man in charge of developing Caleb Williams. As I think you've liked to say in the past, he is the head coach of the offense. Nobody is going to be more instrumental in the development of Caleb Williams, your first overall selection, than Shane Waldron. He's experienced. He's been on the job before. It is his responsibility to make sure that Caleb is ready to go. And I think so far, so good. I like what they did. Tom Thayer talked about it in the preseason. Saw a lot of boot action. Take advantage of his athletic ability and his accuracy outside the pocket. It also serves as a way to protect him. So I think that so far, so good with Shane Waldron. And in my world, where you have invested the first overall selection in your quarterback, the offense coordinator is the second most important person in the building at this moment. Shane Waldron, number 2. Second most important Bear for the 2024 season.
A lot of people, I heard Matt from Streamwood call earlier. He's a frequent caller, good caller.
Jose called, too.
Jose called. Yeah, we
Didn't
do
really listen, but
it's okay. And the thing that a lot of people are liking is the lack of screens. That they're
wide receiver screens.
Like that they're throwing the ball downfield, all the quarterbacks. And maybe that will change come first game of the year. But it sure seems like they're throwing the ball downfield.
I think that you call a lot of screens when you're not 100% confident in the quarterback's processing and his ability to actually protect himself with regard to the pass rush. Because everyone got pissed off at the number of screens they threw last year in Minnesota. I can tell you that they did that because they felt it was the best way to protect themselves against a blitz-happy Brian Flores. So, anyway,
Yeah,
Shane Waldron, number 2.
Brian Flores doesn't treat quarterbacks well, so got to protect against that.
Pretty good. He's learned, though. He said he learned.
It was a good press conference for him, by the way.
I think so. I think you're right. You know how I feel about centers, too, right?
Oh, yeah. Like I think it's the most underrated position in sports.
Especially when you're trying to develop your quarterback. But, yeah, I think even just in general, he's your quarterback of your offensive line. And what's more important than having a cohesive offensive line? I mean,
why did they become almost a non-premium position on the offensive line?
It's not sexy. It's not sexy.
Well,
The
why?
offensive tackle is sexy.
Trent
Williams is sexy because he's on an island and he's taking care of the most violent pass rushers in the league. The center's not lining up across from Myles Garrett. That's Trent Williams' job.
But like you say, the pressure up the middle, the ability to block for the run, and he's got his hand on the ball more than, him and the quarterback touch the ball the most in a football game.
I think most people understand the importance of it. I think when you zoom out and you're watching football from your couch, most people's eyes don't go to the center. They go to the pass rush comes off the edge for the most of the time. That's the only reason. I can guarantee you most teams think it's very important. And which team is the best team in the National Football League the last 5 years?
Chiefs.
And what did the Chiefs just do?
They re-upped their center.
They just made Creed Humphrey the highest paid center in the National Football League, giving him a 4-year contract extension worth $72 million. $50 million guaranteed. What is that? I do the math quickly. Is that $18 million a year? That's what the best center in the National Football League gets. 14, 15, 16, 17, the best centers are going to fall into that. So, someone I know in the business has always said, you get what you pay for. So here's hoping that Coleman Shelton, you get even more than what you paid for because you only gave him 1 year and $3 million.
And I think like Ryan Bates' contract total was for $18 million.
Yes.
His total contract.
So, I mean, just, the old phrase we used to have about if it's good enough for the Patriots, it's good enough for us?
Yes.
What did the Chiefs just do? They invested $72 million in the guy that snaps the ball to Patrick Mahomes. Makes sense to me.
Me too. I'm with you.
Does it make sense that the Chicago Cubs have DFA'd David Bote?
Yeah. Again, like he hadn't been up in the majors in a long time. He was not on their 40-man. They then brought him up because they didn't have a third baseman.
He still delivered one of your favorite moments in recent Cubs history.
The Bote game is one of my favorite
meaningless games?
Well, regular season games. It was a meaningful game that year. What year was it? 2018? I believe 2018. It was just the anniversary. It was a 3-0 game against the Nationals. 9th inning, bases loaded. David Bote reaches.
Davey Bote in the house.
He reaches and he goes to get it and hits it out in the center field bleachers.
Good for him. He cashed in. I think what he signed, like a 3-year, $10 million contract.
More than that.
Was it more than that?
Yeah,
I thought he was making $3 million a year.
No, I thought it was like 4 or 5 a year.
Really? Good for him.
Davey
Bote.
King of the walk-off grand slam.
Do you know who else got DFA'd today?
No, you teased me with this. Is this a baseball player?
Somebody that you're very fond of.
Someone that I'm very fond of. Cap get DFA'd?
He's not a Major League Baseball player, and I said somebody you're very fond of.
No, I'm fond of Cap. Someone who I'm very fond of, Javi, with 3 years left. Did they DFA Javi?
No. By the way, we should have made the golden sombrero bets.
The golden sombrero?
The golden sombrero bet.
Who am I fond of? Who else am I fond of? Like Schwarber, he would never be DFA'd.
I mean, come on, you're in the. If the answer was a poisonous snake, you'd be dead right now because you're right on top of it.
I'm right on top of it.
One of your favorite players from that era.
Not Kyle Hendricks.
No. Veteran Jason Hayward, DFA.
That was yesterday. We talked about it.
No, we didn't.
Didn't we talk about Jay?
In the meeting, but not on the air.
No, we never talked about it.
I do want to bring this up.
I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right. He was on the phone, so we might have hung up with
One
Waddle.
of my favorite guys, yes.
Chris McCoskey, a Detroit news writer or Detroit News, is reporting that Javi has no locker at Guaranteed Rate Field right now.
Uh-oh.
Maybe Sylvie was right. I think he's on the Tigers are on the hook for another 3 years.
Wow.
And I believe it's $73 million total that they still owe him.
Can I ask a simple question to you baseball experts? How can you go from having that kind of skill to being completely inept? I think if you look at Chris Bryant, you can blame a lot of it on injury, can't you?
Yes, and a lot of people point to when he got hit in the head.
Okay.
And then the back injury. You know how bad backs are.
Of course I do. What happened to Javi? To go from being the player that he was, which was flawed in some ways, but to this.
I know.
It was flawed, but he could still cover some of the holes with his swing. And the problem is, though, with the velocity in baseball these days, the moment you age and you can no longer get around on the fastball the way you once did, and now you have to compensate to try and catch up to the fastball, but now you're exposed even worse to the slider than he ever was before. It's just, you see this.
I think I could underhand the ball to Javi. As long as I throw it 3 feet outside the strike zone and short of the plate, he'd swing at it.
Yeah, and miss. So do you think, this tweet that you just mentioned, Tyler, Javier Baez is no locker in the Tigers clubhouse at Guaranteed Rate Field. Do you believe that that's a sign that they're getting rid of him, or that that's just another White Sox mistake? that somehow
I think his locker is now over on the White Sox side because they
You'd fit
DFA'd
in.
him and the White Sox picked him up.
You'd
He's
fit
hitting
in
third.
well here. Or do you just think that this is a screw up from Guaranteed Rate Field?
I will say
That stuff happens out there.
the comments on this tweet are very excited.
All right.
They are overjoyed.
Well,
that
maybe
the
All by Shea.
Have Shea call
Shea
in.
and his 30 burners
Yeah.
are all overjoyed that
30
he could
burners or dirty burners?
both
Yeah.
that he could possibly be gone.
Here's another story, a baseball story, real quick, that Tyler handed me. Danny Jansen will become the first player to play for both teams in one Major League Baseball game. When the Red Sox resume a game against his old team, the Blue Jays, on Monday, the game was suspended when he was hitting, so he will catch against his own pinch hitter.
Wait, I don't get it.
I didn't really get it either.
So he was playing for the Blue Jays. The game happened before the trade deadline. The game got suspended while he was at bat. So before the trade deadline, the Blue Jays traded him to the Red Sox. He is now going to be catching that game on Monday for the Red Sox when they continue it.
And he's the batter?
He's the batter, so he will be pinch hit for while he is the catcher.
First time ever.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
There you go.
By the way, all the baseball news brought
the
to you
good stuff.
by Toyota. Your Chicagoland Toyota dealers. Head there today. Squeeze out the last bit of summer in a brand new Toyota. All right, so we'll try and figure out this the Javi situation.
Well, and we're also going to bring you, hopefully, something very saucy